Barak Hashem Yahweh, Malach Haolam, Elohim of our forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the creator of the heavens and the earth and the sea and all that in them is. Hallel, Yah, hallelujah. Abba Yahweh, we come to you now on this set-apart day as your humbled servants, Abba Yah, in reverence and obedience to your commandments, Abba Yah, to gather together on this set-apart Quadash day, Shabbat. And we come to praise your name, Abba Yah, to lift you up on high and to seek your face, Abba Yah, asking for your continued favor on us, your grace and your mercy, Abba Yah. And we thank you, Toda Rabah Abba, for all the blessings, seen and unseen, Abba Yah, food, shelter, clothing, and all the comforts that we enjoy, Abba Yah. And we give you thanks, Abba Yah, also for your correction, your chastisement. As you told us, Abba Yah, that you chastise those that you love. So Halal, Yah, and Toda Rabah Abba for being our Abba, being our Elohim. And as we come together on this platform, Abba Yah, in this cultural and language study, we just ask that you bless us with your Ruach HaKodesh, Abba Yah, lead us in the truth, that we may gain wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, Abba Yah, that we can learn to truly appreciate the culture that you blessed us with, Abba Yah. And as we seek to reclaim our heritage, the set apart, glorious heritage, Abba Yah, that you blessed us with, we just ask that you guide us, lead us, Abba Yah, and feed us the heritage of Jacob. We thank you, Abba Yah, for all the testimonies and the praise reports, Abba Yah, of your greatness, your majesty. And we just ask, Abba Yah, that you continue to wash us with your living word, continue to shape us into vessels of your will, Abba Yah, and that you increase our light that shines on your kingdom, your majesty, your sovereignty, Abba Yah, that all your creation will praise you, Abba Yah, Halal Yah. We also ask, Abba Yah, that you bless Moreh Samak, who will bring the Shabbat lesson, that your message comes through clear, Abba Yah, and reaches the target that it's aimed for, and that we receive it in gladness, Abba Yah, and put it into practice, rehearsal in our lives, Abba Yah. We thank you for this Torah that converts our soul, Abba Yah, that shapes us into your image as you purposed from the beginning. And in all things, Abba Yah, Tob and Ra, good and bad, we say Toda Rabah Abba. Blessed are you, Yahweh. Blessed is your name, Yahweh. Blessed is he that comes in your name, Yahweh. We do so in the character, in the authority, and the examples of your only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai Mashiach. Aman wa aman. All right, Mishpachah. Welcome back to a glorious set-apart Shabbat day. We'll get right into the cultural and language study. Last Shabbat, you remember we went into an exhaustive look into the significance of the alphabet, the Hebrew alphabet, in order to emphasize the gravity, the weight of the cultural language for our understanding. to try and cut through and see through the English translations of our ancestors' words, of our Elohim words, that we can get a better understanding. And that maybe we can start to understand how our ancestors communicated their thoughts and their emotions based on their cultural experiences, which is all a part of language, cultural language. And now going forward, we're not going to spend so much time like we did last week on Aleph, like we did last week going into the Aleph, the first letter. But we will scratch the surface on each of these letters from the Bet to the Tav. I mean, honestly, if we spent as much time as we did last week on the Aleph Bet, it would take us almost a half a year, you know. There's 52 weeks in a year, and that's 22 weeks of Aleph Bet. So we're going to go a little fast today. We're going to try and go through the whole Aleph Bet today. And you will need to dig in on your own to get as much information on these paleo, the pictograph, as much as you're motivated to, as much as you have an appetite for, as much as you hunger and thirst. That drives how much you dig in to get a deeper understanding. And remember that the paleo, that picto, is the proof. It's the beginning. It's the root meaning. All right, let me share screen and we'll get right into it. Let me know if y'all can see that. Y'all can see that? Is that big enough? Can y'all hear me?
Okay.
Toda. So like I said, last week we went into the Aleph. This week we're going into the Bet. Right? And the Bet is the second letter in the Hebrew alphabet, and it has a numerical value of 2. And we'll get more into the numerical values later on in the study. And what you see here is the original picto. And then you're starting to see the evolution of the letters as we transition to the modern. I don't know what just popped up on my screen. Right? But the Bet, this picto right here is a picto of a tent or a house. And it's like the plan view. It's like looking down on a schematic on how to build a house. You have the entrance here, then it's separated, men and women. The men are closer to the entrance for obvious reasons, and then the women are further back, more protected. And we see the separation, that little divot right there is the separation between the men's side and the women's side. Its original name is Bet. Bet, and it means house. But the significance is what's inside the house. What's inside the house is the significance. That's the focal point. And we see family, house, inside. And the concrete understanding first is a house physically, and then all the attributes of the physical structure can be applied to it. And that's all of the pictograph, the Aleph Bet from the pictograph. Remember, the pictograph is the root, is the beginning, is the proof. And so that Bet, that house, the significance, when our ancestors saw that, what they really focused was is the purpose of the house, and then what's inside the house. We got family, safety, shalom. And we can see that in the scriptures when we see house of Yisrael. Bet or Bait Yisrael. And then what are the attributes of being inside the house of Israel? And also remember that these letters have a positive and a negative. They have a positive and a negative. And so the negative would be, what would be the attributes of being outside the house of Yisrael? And it has a sound. If you follow my cursor here, it has the sound of B, as in bat or boy. And it also has the sound of B, as the first part of bak. And it also it also has a V sound in certain instances, as in va or vet or vat. And this is the modern script. The modern script is this character right here. And the modern name is bait. The original name is bet. The modern name is bait. And the modern also has the B sound, the BH sound, and also the V sound. Now I'm gonna move a little bit faster, but I want you to keep these thought processes in mind as we go forward. The concrete understanding first, the house or the tent, and then every concept that can be attributed to the house or the tent. Family, inside, shalom, safety, and hopefully the aleph. All right, moving on. And also remember that the modern, what we're looking at here, this modern script, Syrian script, the block script, has evolved over 1,000 years from the original, from the Picto. That's thousands of years of evolution to get to this point. And the significance of that evolution is, along the way, you know, that Israel is not the only ones that spoke Hebrew or dialect of Hebrew. They're not the only ones. So we've picked up influences from other Shemitic languages. We've picked up some of those things, and in doing so, they've morphed into modern definitions. It's not necessarily tied, this modern is not necessarily tied to the ancient cultural understanding of that letter. That's why I started with the Paleo, with the Picto. So moving on. Next letter in line is the Gimel. The original name is Gam, G-A-M, Gam, and it's a Gimel and a Mem, but we'll get into that later. But the original name is Gam. It's the representation of a foot. And it's the third letter in the alphabet. It has a numerical value of 3. And some say this is the picture of a camel's foot. Some scholars say that. Some scholars are just satisfied that it's just a foot. And then the concrete of that is what is represented by a foot, what can be contributed or attributed to foot or feet, to walk, to carry. And this is where the camel's foot probably got its origin, because we use camels culturally to carry our things, camels, donkeys, horses, and so forth. But the concrete is the foot. All of those have feet to carry. It also, that gam means to gather. And that gam is the gimel and the mem, which means water. And culturally, it was to walk to the water where everybody gathers around the water. They walk to that water and they're gathered together around the water. That's significant. Keep that in mind. They gather together around the water. It also means to lift or to be lifted. And this also is where some scholars believe that it's a depiction of a camel's foot. And that's because when the camel stands up on his feet, whatever he's carrying is lifted up. And the original name, like I said, is Gam, and that means to gather together. And the Gimel makes a G sound, as in get or gas. Next in line is the Dalet. That's the original picto of the Dalet. It has morphed into, well, the modern, I'm not showing the modern here, but the modern is of a door. The modern is of a door, and not the doorway. The depiction is not the doorway, but that either a type of blanket or an animal skin that hangs over the doorway. That's the modern depiction of Dalet. And I'll show you that a little bit later. And Dalet is the fourth letter in the Hebrew alphabet, and it has a numerical value of 4. It makes the D sound. Originally, it was a picto of a tent door. Like I said, not the doorway, but the type of blanket or animal skin hanging down over the doorway. And what it represented, what can be attributed to it, is an opening. Also to enter or entering, or to exit or exiting. It also means it represents to hang down or to hang low. And it also means to close in or close out. And now we're going to go a little bit faster. So I'm just going to go through it just like the sheet says. But like I said, you're going to have to dig in and go back and research the cultural significance. And the reason why we want to research that cultural significance is, like I said, over those thousands of years of evolving, some of the cultural aspects have been left out, has not been kept. The cultural aspects of it has not been kept. So that's why we're starting in this paleo. As we go forward, we won't worry about the paleo, but in your mind, you can see where it is cultural, where it came from culturally, and what it meant to our ancestors culturally. So we'll go pretty fast through the rest of the alphabet. And before I do, are there any questions or any comments?
Yes. Okay, so I'm remembering that this starting over, and I'm just going to go back up to the ox head.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a transition, like you say, evolving from ancient to modern, right?
Yes.
So, okay, right here under where we are now, the Dalet, where you just were stopping at. So when I'm focusing on this chart and actually trying to, once I get into trying to put, I guess, the sounds with the letter, will I be focusing? I will be focusing on the letters in the modern. Is that correct?
Okay.
Okay. I'm just trying to.
You'll be focusing on these letters.
Okay, gotcha. But you're just kind of showing us the reference between the ancient and the modern, but we're really going to actually be focusing on the modern Hebrew as we're learning. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
But remember, this is a cultural and language. So I want to touch on the culture. And like I said, over the time of evolution, some of the cultural aspects have been lost with these scripts.
Right, but when we are actually trying to learn how to pronunciate certain things, we're going to be using the lettering in the modern. I guess that's what I'm trying to understand.
Okay. That's correct.
Okay. Toda
for asking that question. Okay, so moving on. We're going to start here with the hay, and we're going to go pretty fast. And this is a depiction of a man standing with his hands raised. And the original name is hay. And it's a man with his arms raised, and the meaning of it is to look or to reveal or to breathe, right? To look in discovery, so to speak. To reveal, something is revealed to you. And then breath. And the reason why how they got the breath there is when something is kind of like revealed to you, you get the sound of gasp, like, oh, or you get the, oh, you know, like that's the breath that it's talking about. And it has it has the H sound, or like I just said, the ah sound. This is the modern script. The modern name is Hey, and it also has the H sound. Next is the Wa, and in modern, you'll see that it's also called the Vav, but originally it was a Wa. And what it represents is a tent peg. And the tent peg to us was to add two pieces of something together, or to secure something down, or to hook it in, to secure it in by hooking it. And it has the W sound, went, watt. It also had the O sound, like whoa. And it also had the U sound, sort of like I can't think of a WU right now, but like wound. That's how they get the U. So it would be the W sound, but it'd be WO or WU. And this is the modern script. And like I said, in modern, they call it Vav, and it has a V sound. Next is the Zion. We call it Zion in modern, but the original name is Zan, and it's a matic. And if you don't know what a matic is, it's picture the Grim Reaper with that staff and the bowed blade at the top. That blade is the matic. So that's kind of like what that looks like. That bowed blade at the top was the matic. And what it meant was to cut food, you know, like to cut down wheat, also to cut or to nourish. This is the ancient, to nourish. That's how we got nourishment. We slice down the food, the wheat. It also in the modern is a sword, a sharp tool, a weapon, and it has a numeric value of 7. Has a numeric value of 7. It makes the Z sound, as in zoo or zap. And then we're moving down to the het. The het, it's a guttural, and we'll get into that later. But this is the symbol of a tent wall. A tent wall, what separates, like this little dangle down here would be the het in the tent to separate sections of the tent, a wall. And what it means is outside, to divide, to make half, and it has the H sound, but it's a guttural het. This is the modern symbol. The name is Ket, and it also has the H in modern. Next is the Tet. The Tet is the original name, and it represents the lid of a basket. The lid of a basket, and usually it's like a pottery basket. I mean, a pottery pot or a wicker basket, and it means to surround or contain or mud. Mud is how the clay pots were made. It, you know, it looks like mud. It has the sound of a T, like tet or tag or teeth. This is the modern script. The modern name is also Tet, and in modern, it still has that T sound. It also could mean hide, decision, cloak, cover up, deceive in modern. Next, we have the Yod, and this representation is of an arm. Its original name is Yad. It has a numerical value of 10. Has a numerical value of 10, right? And it means to work, to throw, to worship. And those are pretty much the same understandings in modern. It has the Y sound, sort of like I, and it also has an E sound, as in ye. This is the modern script. The modern name is Yud or Yod, and it has the Y sound also. Next, we have the Kaf. The Kaf. And the Kaf is like an open hand. It's an open palm. It also means to bend, or to open, or to allow, or to tame, or to receive. Its sound is a K or a KH, kick. I'm trying to think of a KH sound. Well, like cough, ka, ka, kit, kick, or ka. That's the modern script. It kept the name Kaf, and it also has the K or the KH sound. Now pay attention here. This is the Lamed. This is the Lamed, modern Lamed. And really it's the depiction of a shepherd's staff. The original name is Lam. Shepherd or staff is the picture. It means to teach, to yoke, to, like join to, or to bind. Now we'll go a little bit more into that later, but that's significant also, that lamed, that shepherd staff. It also means to go, to guide, to chastise. It has an L sound, just like its name, Lam or Lamed. This is the modern script, the modern depiction. And it got its name Lamed or Lamed. In modern, its name changed to or evolved to Lamed or Lamed, and it has an L sound, still has that L sound. We got the Mem, which is like flowing water. That's the modern name. I mean, the ancient name is Mem, the original name is Mem. It's water. It also means chaos, mighty, like a mighty river, or the might of the ocean. It also could mean blood, as in kind of like liquid form. This letter has a numerical value of 30, and I forgot. Did I tell you the numerical value here? You see how it jumps from when we get from Yod to Kaf. Yod is a value of 10. Kaf jumps to a value of 20. Lamed jumps to a value of 30. And I'll talk about those values a little bit later, but it's not just like in normal counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those numbers are a little bit different than that. So Mem has a value of 40. but it's the 13th letter in the Hebrew alphabet. Its name is Mem, like I said, water, chaos, mighty, blood. It has the sound of an M, like Mem or move. This is the modern script. It kept the name Mem. It also kept the sound M. Next we have the noon. And honestly, that's the picture of a man's seed. That's what it is, a picture of a man's seed. Or you can see it as the seed starting to sprout. All right. Its name is noon. It's a seed. That's what it's a picture of. And it means to continue. Sort of like to continue the heritage, to continue the line, the bloodline. It also means heir or son. It has a sound of N. This is the modern script of the noon. It kept the name noon, and it kept the sound N. Next letter is sin. And it has a numerical value of 60. And what it's a depiction of is like a thorn. It's like a thorn. And its meaning is like to grab, you know, like like you walk past a thorn bush, that thorn might grab you, it might stick into you. Also, if you guys, a lot of us here down south know about the sand spurs. Like you walk past that weed looking thing that has a sand spur on it, it'll get stuck in your socks, your shoes, your pants leg, and all of that. That's what the depiction is, a thorn. It's got hate associated with it. It's also got protect associated with it. It has a sound of S, just like its name, sin, the original name sin. And this is the modern, well, it's close to the modern depiction. And it changed its name to Samek or Samek. And it also has the S sound, but in modern, it also has added support or like foundation support. That's what was also kind of added to it when it evolved into the modern Samek. Next, we have the iron. And originally, it's like a depiction of an eye, the eye with the eyeball in the middle. Its original name was Ga. It's the representation of an eye, and it means to watch or to know or to become wise, shade. And it has the GH sound or the sound, sound. This is the modern depiction, the modern script, and its modern name is Ayin. And what they're saying here is it's a silent letter in modern. Without a nakud attached to it, it's silent. Next, we have the pay. And let me make sure I'm giving you, once we leave Yod, the numerical values jump by 10. So if I forget to mention the number, just know that from Yod is the numerical value of 10, and then all the letters after that, up to, well, from there, they jump by 10. So Yod would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 60 is the sin or the Sami. 70 is the I, the Ga, or the Ayin. We get down to pay. And pay, this is supposed to be a depiction of a mouth, and it morphed, but originally it was like a picture of a mouth. Its name was Pei. Like I said, it meant the picture was a mouth, and it means blow or scatter, like the wind. Like when you blow on something, you could scatter it, or the edge, like the edge of your mouth, the edge of your lips. It had the P sound or the PH sound, like it's pot or like physical. P as in pot or P as in physical. This is the modern depiction, and its name stayed the same, Pei. And in the modern, it still has the P sound or the PH sound. Next is the Sade. And it's supposed to be a depiction of a man bowed down, like on his knees bowing down. The original name is Saad. Saad means trail. I mean, the picture was like the trail, and it meant journey, chase, hunt, and it had the TS sound as in like tsetse or tsetse fly. This is the modern depiction, and its name kind of morphed or evolved into Sade, and it still has that same TS sound. Next is the Kuf. Now, significant about the Kuf, now we're jumping from tens to 100. The numerical value for this one is 100. And originally it was a picture of a sunset. Like you could see the sun going down on the horizon. Its original name was Kuf, or Kuf. Like I said, sun on the horizon means to condense, to circle, or time. How long it takes the circle of the sun going down, or to condense, how the light is condensing into darkness. It had the sound of Q, quince, cubit, quam. This is the modern depiction, and kept the name Kuf, and kept the sound Q. Next, we have the Resh, and that the original depiction is a man's head. Its original name is Resh. It's the head of a man, and it means first, top, beginning, primary. It has a sound of R, rope, run. This is the modern depiction. This is the modern script. Kept the name Resh, and it kept the sound of R. Next, we have the Shin. The Shin. And the Shin is the depiction of teeth. It's the depiction of teeth, like two front teeth, as it says here in the picture. And it means sharp, or to press, or to eat, or like two, a pair. Its numerical value is 300, and it has the sound of SH, shore, shrink, shoot. This is the modern script. And in modern, depending, well, we'll get into that when we get into the Nakuds, but it could either be a Shin, SH sound, the name Shin, or Sin. Now, I'll just tell you historically, there was no, the Sin was up here. The Sin was this. So there was no two names or either two sounds. Originally, it was only the Shin. We had a Sin sound already, so it was just Shin. But in the modern, depending on the Nakud, it could be the SH sound or just the S sound, Shin or Sin. And then the last letter in our alphabet is the tau. That's the original name, the tau. And it has a numerical value of 400. And the depiction is cross sticks. And it means to mark or a sign or a signal or a monument. It had the sound of a T, and some scholars would tell you that it has the sound of a TH because we already had the T sound in the text. So they will tell you anciently it only had the TH sound, the tha sound. But modernly, this is depiction in modern script, and they call it a tav. In modern, it's a tav, and it kept the T sound. Any questions? Any questions? Now, the only reason why I brought up this Picto, is so that we can get a more cultural aspect of how these letters, what these letters meant to our ancestors. But we are going to be studying the modern script. That's what we're going to be reading. That's what we're going to be applying the codes to. So we're going to pay attention to this script right here, this name right here, and this sound right here. Any questions?
I'm sorry. Yes. Okay, so I'm just like looking at the what I'm just calling the letters, the modern letters.
Yes.
Here, I noticed that there's a couple that's kind of like to my visual, they look kind of closely related. Like I think it's the cough and the bet. To me, they look a little similar, except like right at the base of it. Just my observance, and
And
also
that's
the pay, the pay. All three of those look really kind of similar to me because as we were going through them, I was at least trying to write, like trying to write it. And I was like, wait a minute, these kind of look almost familiar. How can I kind of distinguish the difference? Just me in my mind, just trying to do it as you were just talking about each thing.
That's covered. That's typical. That's typical when learning the alphabet. Those characters that look alike. They are easily, even for those that have been reading the script for a while, if they don't take their time, they can easily confuse those scripts. So that's covered in the lesson. We're going to get to that. That's covered in the lesson.
Okay.
Good question, though. Good question. Any other questions? All right, we're going to get to the reading practice, and we're going to stay in Bereshit chapter 1. But I want to make sure there are no questions. Now, next week, we're not going to be using this chart. The only reason why I put this chart up is so that I could touch on the Picto and get a cultural connection to these modern letters. All right, so next week, we're not going to use this chart. We're just going to use the chart that has pretty much basically the modern script on it. All right. So now, quickly, remember the concrete meaning, then all that can be attributed to the concrete understanding. So remember the letter, and I hope you're starting to fix the Picto in your mind when you picture these modern letters and what it meant to our ancestors. And then all of this will become relevant as we progress in the language. You'll see why the Hebrew syntax, the way the sentence is structured, is different than in the English syntax. And really the reason why it's different is because the process of thought, how we processed our thought and how we express those thoughts is in a different syntax, which is important. All right, so I'm gonna close this one out and then we're gonna go into some reading, and I need participation. And we're gonna go, we're only gonna do probably verse 1 and 2 today. But we're going to stay right here because once we get familiar with the letters and the Nakud, then we're going to start breaking down these, and we're going to see how this is foundational to our culture and to our language. All right. We get back up to Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1. All right. Do I have a volunteer? And not always the same volunteers. Y'all need to practice. I can't see the hands, so y'all can see this, right?
Okay.
All right. Do I have a volunteer reader?
House of Yosef have their hand up.
All right. House of Yosef, floor is yours. Toda More.
Shabbat Shalom. So I'm gonna
Shabbat
try.
Shalom.
Give me a second. I'm trying to just blow it up for myself. Okay.
Hold up.
Why?
No, stand by. I had the wrong verse up. All right, here we go. Verse 1.
Okay. Barashit. Bara. Elohim.
Keep
8.
going.
Hasha Maim. Wa8. Ha'aret.
Khan. Now I want you to try it one more time. You did
Okay.
good. That was a toe job. Try and read it through.
Okay. Barashit. Bara. Elohim. 8. Washa. Hasha Maim. Wa8. Ha'aret.
Toe job.
Hold on.
Toe job. Anybody else want to take a run at verse 1?
I'm sorry. Can I ask a question about what she just read?
Yes.
Okay, when I'm visually looking at this, now I'm trying to connect just letters that you just went through. Okay, so like I see your cursor right there.
Yeah.
Like that first letter, those little dots that's over top of some of these letters, is that something different? Because it's kind of like just in my mind how I'm trying to learn.
Khan.
I'm trying to understand what do the dots have, because when I look at the letters, I can see some of the letters that you were just going through. I can kind of
Khan.
identify some of those now. That's making sense to me. But when they don't have any little dots over them, I'm like, okay, now what is that?
Khan. So just to let you know, and you know, all praises the Most High that you're in this class trying to get the language and the culture. But a lot of us in this class right now are just a little bit ahead of you. They already studied these dots that are above and below. That's the Nakud, and that right there, right. And so next week, I'm gonna go back into the Nakud for the beginners, the ones that are just now coming online. So right now, this reading practice really is for those that have already they got the Aleph Bet pretty much memorized. And they got the Nakuds, these dots, pretty much memorized. So this practice is for them to keep kind of sharp on their reading. So that's what we're doing now.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Right. Hallelujah. Good question. There was somebody else, and then I'm gonna have to move on. Moray, did you identify somebody else that wanted to try verse 1?
The Scrivens family.
Okay, Scrivens, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Barashit, Bara, Elohim, 8, Hashamayim, Wa 8, Haaretz.
Hallelujah. Tov job. Tov job.
Ta-da.
Tov job. All right. One more, and then I'm gonna close out. Let's do verse 2. Koti Marsha, you want to try this one? Is she on?
Yeah, she has her hand raised.
Okay.
Shalom.
Shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Okay, I'm gonna try this. Waha Aretz Hayata Tohu Wabohu Wahashek Al Panim
What's that letter?
Tehum.
All right, so let's start this right here again.
Wahashek
Okay, remember that hold up there.
Wahoshek.
Right, and that's a het, not a hey.
Okay. Wahashek. Wahoshek.
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 There you go.
Al Panay. Tehum. Teho.
There you go. Go ahead.
Tehum.
Nope, that's not a who. That's a what.
That's a oh.
There you
It's an
go.
O sound.
There you go.
Home.
There you go. To home. There you go.
Home. Rawuah.
There you go.
Alahim. Mara. Hapta.
All right. So each one of those get that sound. You got that right. Maraka.
Maraha.
Marake.
Marahe.
That's a ket.
Ket.
That's a hard one. That's a hard
Yeah.
one. You're working it out pretty good though.
Marahe. Because
Okay, so you got Mara Kefet.
Marafet.
There you go.
Al Panay.
Khan.
Ha Mayim.
Tov job. That's a hard one. And you did so well last Shabbat. I was wondering, and you worked it out. You worked it out well. So here's a couple of things that you got to look at. Shurek makes the oo sound, and then the holam wa makes the o sound.
O sound.
Right. The holam here makes that o sound. The same here with that holam wa makes that o sound. This is the u sound, the oo sound, right?
Right.
And then well, we'll get into the syllabizing later, but Merachefet. Now see that there's no dot in this pay, right?
Right.
So it gets the f sound.
Okay.
There's a dot in this one, it gets the p sound.
Right.
Well, normally. So you got al pene here, but you got kefet here. Kefet, where you got pene here. Toe breathing. And so we went a little long, so I'm gonna go ahead and close out. But next week we're gonna get right into this. We're gonna do we'll do a quick review of the alphabet, and then we're gonna get right into reading. We're gonna get right into reading with the Nakuds. I'm gonna start addressing the Nakud system for the new for the ones that are just joining us for the last couple of weeks. Then we'll get into the Nakuds, the vowel point system. And so I didn't forget about the homework, the 3 main Shemitic languages of today, and the language of Bereshit. And just for the sake of time, we'll have to go over that next Shabbat. Next Shabbat, be prepared for an Aleph Bet quiz. And then we'll begin the Nakud vowel point system. Continue to practice writing and pronouncing the letters. You have to write them and pronounce them with the vowels out loud. And for you new beginners that don't have the Nakud down yet, just remember that the A, the Aleph is a A sound, the Bet is a Ba sound, and so forth and so on. Don't worry about the Nakud yet. But for you advanced, well, you're more studied students, remember to pronounce them as you write them. Pronounce them as you write them. Do your homework. Participate, participate, participate. I can't stress that enough. Participate. And then I know I went a little fast in this alphabet. So one idea I have is that at the end of each lesson, somebody volunteers to do a cultural background on the next letter in the alphabet. So like today, we started off with the Bet, right? And we ended with the Dalet. So next week, somebody would give maybe a 2-minute summary of their research on that ancient letter Hey, that pictograph. If y'all agree with that, then I'll take a volunteer. Somebody can do some research on the Hey. And then at the beginning of the lesson next week, most high willing, give like a minute or 2 summary of the cultural aspect you found out about the Hey. Any volunteer? Well, if you don't think that's useful, that's cool. I hope you learned something today. All right. I see. How did I get that one? I see Moria raised hand. Toda, Koti. So you're gonna do a cultural for next week on the Hey. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Toda. All right, so I hope we're starting to get an appreciation of our language and our culture, and it's not as hard as you think. It's just the beginning parts is hard. You know, just like in anything, the beginning parts is going to be the hard part. Stick with it, practice, and it'll start to become easier and easier, and it'll be more enjoyable. So I hope you got something out of this lesson, and I hope you stick with us as we continue on to get back into our culture and our language. Halal Yah, Halal Yah. I turn it over to you, Moray.
Hello, yeah, amen, well, amen. Toda for the cultural portion on this day. And I just like for everyone to stay encouraged. I know some may think, hey, well, I don't want to learn Hebrew, or it may be hard, but and don't worry about the portions that you don't know. Just follow along with the lesson, because as the Zaqan is doing, we're doing it kind of a mixed class. So we have an introductory level, we have a basic level and an intermediate level. So those that are already reading, and that was a good question that you asked, Adon Michael, but you know, like Zaqan, he will be going over all those things. So just kind of focus directly on the points that he's making for the study today. And the things that look strange or not familiar, it will get familiar, because he will be covering all those things as he goes along. But we trying to always stop in the class to restart the class. And then those that have already been practicing don't get their opportunity to continue to grow forward. So this is kind of introductory, basic, and intermediate class all in one. So it's a portion for everyone, and we hope that everyone can grow to the same level together. So all praise, honor, esteem be to the Most High. Great presentation, Adon, all praise to the Most High. I now yield the floor to Kanakia for his 2-minute warning.
All right, Shabbat Shalom. Read a few verses and then we'll conclude the warning at the end.